Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Cindy Daychuck with Queen Bee Creations. Thanks for tuning in today. We are a little bit of sewing. If you follow me, then you know I am not a sewer. But it's just a baby sewing. It's a straight line sewing. I can do that. But what we're looking at doing is taking old blue jeans. So these can be jeans that you've worn out, you're tired of repairing knees, if in fact you ever repair the knees, maybe old jeans of your kids. If you're the type that you just don't have old jeans, then you can just go to the thrift store and pick up some for like $7. So, or you can just go buy brand new blue jean material if you want to do that too. I like the thrifting aspect, so I'm just using old work blue jeans of mine that have just totally given up the ghost. So what we are looking at doing is just cutting out a rough leaf shape, okay? There's nothing more magical about this. You don't need a pattern for it. You're gonna cut out the size and shape that you're after. And depending upon your project, you may want to do a variety of sizes. So we're gonna be making leaves out of these, hence the leaf shape kind of follows. But if you were doing like little dangling fabric leaf earrings, you're obviously gonna make little tiny leaves. If you're doing them for a project on a bag or you're gonna sew them onto the back of your jean jacket, you might want bigger leaves, whatever. The process that I'm gonna show you is the same, however. And what I'm doing is I am just taking a piece of jute, so not too thick, and I am just simply sewing it down the middle of my leaf in a zigzag pattern. So straight line, zigzag, you're done. And it just ends up looking like this. Now you could use, again, depending upon your project, you could use different colors of that. You could use ribbon, you know, hang in there, see where we're going with it, and then you decide where you're going with it. Now, here's the one thing that I am going to say. Because once we've sewn this, we are just going to take a seam ripper that is not on my table, but we're just going to pick out the threads. Your jeans are actually, you've got threads going this way, threads going this way. I think it's called the warp and the weft if you're into, you know, making blankets and weaving. But I can't tell you which one's the warp, which one's the weft. One is one is the other. But they cross like this. So if you cut your leaves this way to the fabric, you're gonna be pulling out either the white threads or the blue threads and leaving the opposite color behind. If you want them the other, then you cut your leaves this way. So the way that you cut your fabric is going to make a difference. So let me show you. I thought it was easier to do this ahead. So here's two leaves, and one is cut up and down the fabric, one is cut across, and then I'm pulling out the thread. So you can see that I'm going to end up with two totally different colored leaves, which again, I don't mind having the variety, but you'll see what I mean. Now, you can, before you start sewing, just pull a thread out. If you're pulling a white thread, you're gonna be left with this color. If you're pulling a blue thread, you're gonna be left with this color. And then you can cut your leaves accordingly. But all that you're gonna do is you're gonna take your little seam ripper and you're gonna tease apart the threads that go this way and pull them out one by one. So this is only half done. And what that cord down the middle does is it stops it from shredding all the way across, right? So it gives you a nice firm center line. Now you're gonna find, as you can see here, that I didn't sew exactly straight. So my threading kind of means I'm gonna have a little bit of a wider section there before this. I'm okay with that. The straighter you get it, the less of that you'll have, but it's not a do or die for the project in any way. So you can leave them half done, you can do them totally done, up to you. I just did half and half right now to show you, but I'm going to finish picking those apart. So what I'm going to do is get a bunch more leaves sewn and done before we move on to the next piece. But just the leaves themselves, pretty darn cute. These are our leaves, and I gotta tell you, they're really pretty cute. So there's that color, there's the light color, and I like the contrast of the two. It was more challenging to pull out the dark ones. I don't know why. The threads were, I couldn't just pull them. They were softer, and I did a couple of little ones too. So they're really pretty nice. They're very delicate feeling, and I could see you being able to do, if I had the patience to do 1,000,000 of them, and I might have to try this because I have the idea in my head now of like a wreath, a blue jean wreath. Okay, doesn't that sound cute? All right, let me know what you guys think. In my head, it sounds cute. What I am gonna go for is a little bit of just blue jean stuff still. So this is my leg. Look at the holes that I had. It's just sad, I end up just covered in paint and with holes, and if you come into the shop, then you know that's really what I dress like. That's what I look like. But I thought that these would make, because they're clean jeans. But I was thinking this could make some really cute little, and I didn't cut those straight, so let me just straighten that out a little bit here. Just kind of a nice, cute little gift bag. So what I am going to do, I'm just going to turn this inside out to start. And, okay, no. So I'll just tell you what I just thought of. I was going to sew the bottom together, but that's already a finished seam. And then I'd have to have sewn the top and finished that as a seam. And that just seems like more sewing. I don't like that. So I'm going to take that cut edge. That's going to be, all right, that's going to be my bottom. So I am just going to sew a straight line along the bottom and close that off. If you hated sewing even more than me, or did not have a sewing machine, glue it. I'm okay with that too. So I'm just gonna sew this up, and we will get that closed off, and then I'll be back for the next stage. Okay, what I did do, and let me get this big thing out of the way, because I think I get to be done with sewing, is I did sew a big piece of jute onto the side of the bag. This is gonna be what we get to tie the bag up with. right? We can tie our bow. But what I wanted to do was use our leaves to kind of decorate up our bag a little bit. So I just plugged in my hot glue and we've got it going. And we've got our leaves. And what I may do is just kind of, you know, just nicely kind of glue, and I have a big wooden leaf too. It's just kind of glue the center of my leaves down so that all of the fringe still is loose and fringy. Okay, that's not really a word, but you know. And I don't need to have the really long stems if I'm doing that. Okay. And I'm not sure about the wood one. Maybe. Just adding something a little texturally different, maybe. But I won't need the string. Okay. So let me wait for the glue to get hot because it's not, and then I'll bring you back looking down at the table and we'll see. We'll see what it looks like. I'm kind of thinking I like the 3 of them laid out like this. So what I am going to do is put the glue down along the back. If I didn't have all kinds of things stuck all over it. Down along the back of that seam. I'm kind of angling out. We'll do this guy. Now you could, of course, have sewn these in place. Certainly, you could hand sew them, you could have machine sewn them. That's just a lot more sewing for me. And I would have had to have had this open and flat for me to have a hope in heaven of even being able to get that to do that. So I like, you know, I'm really looking, I like having that stem. So I had seen people do it with the stem, without the stem, you know, without that jute or cord or ribbon or something running down it. But I really like how it kind of defines it a little bit more, I think. And I'm debating putting my 2 little guys up there, and I think I will. And I think, because I have them, and I think what I'll do is just do them with a dab at the top. So they are more free-flowing. But of course, with all of these, all of that fringe is kind of free-flowing and loose. Kind of. Okay, let me let that dry. I'll see what I think, whether I need something more. Well, so after much debate, I got out some packing peanuts and filled my bag. And I attached just one tiny little solo wood flower. It's kind of got that natural look that kind of goes with this. But I have to tell you, I really like those leaves. I think that there's a lot that you could do with them. And the whole point of this project was not about teaching how to do a bag, but it was about experimenting with those leaves. And I think I may have to just kind of play around with maybe sewing up some of the rough leaves and then just taking them home and pulling them apart as I'm watching a movie or something like that. And if I get a mess of them together, I may have to give another project with the leaves a try. But as a first go, I gotta tell you, they're really pretty cute. I kind of like them a lot, and I like having the two tones. So cutting leaves this way and this way on your fabric so that you are removing different threads, I think is a good idea, and it kind of works out really nice. Let me know what you think of this one, guys. Yeah, the leaves are super fun. Let me know if you think that you would give it a try, and if you've got some other ideas of what you could do with them. Definitely let me know if you think maybe giving a wreath a try, a blue jean wreath would be something that's just good in my head, or it might be worth seeing. Either way, thanks for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, do all those good things for me, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Until then, take care.